Hello and welcome, I'm Rory's photographer, and in today's video we're going to be looking at how I captured a superstar actor Sir Patrick Stewart's portrait. And this is just a reminder that if you liked today's video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. I also offer online mentoring and workshops, so check out the links below. I had assumed that only sheer luck or destiny would place Sir Patrick Stewart in front of my camera lens. I had dreamt for nearly 25 years to capture his portrait, and my chance came in 2014. The sitting would change my stars from a provincial photographer to an international portraitist working in London, New York and Los Angeles. So let me take you back to the beginning. How does one arrange a sitting with a screen icon? I began by writing a letter to Sir Patrick Stewart's agent in London. I'd only assumed that my letter had been buried in fan mail as I had no reply. I discovered that Sir Patrick was starring in Waiting for Godot at New York's Court Theatre on Broadway. I swiftly dispatched another letter and waited in hope. To my astonishment, a reply came through just a few weeks later. However, as I expected, it was a reply from Sir Patrick to say he had declined my invitation. Nevertheless, like a snail setting his sights on the ark, I composed a compelling reply urging to Sir Patrick to reconsider. A few weeks passed by again until, seemingly out of the blue, an email came from Sir Patrick himself accepting my offer of a sitting. His acceptance, however, came with the proviso that the sitting had to take place in New York. With no patron or funding to realise my dream, I would have to fund this trip on my own if it was to come true. Meditating on the costs, my final decision came upon photographing a wedding in my hometown of Liverpool. At this time in my career, I was capturing weddings, model portfolios, all those things a photographer must do to make a living. Wanting to take my career to the next level, I had to invest in myself, and it's important as a photographer. If you want to succeed in photography, you have to be your own patron. I decided then and there I would fly to New York, capture Sir Patrick Stewart and show people what I can do. I decided enough was enough. A professional photographer is nothing without a compelling portfolio, and my passion to create had become an addiction. The session was arranged for the 5th of May 2014, and I arrived in New York a little more than a day before the shoot. Be it jet lag from travelling over 3,000 miles, or the anticipation I couldn't sleep the day before the photoshoot. Thankfully, one of my strengths as a photographer is preparation, being ready for a sitting. And I came to this photoshoot with a plan, an idea and a method to capture the portrait I wanted. Ironically, the inspiration behind my work has never flown from photographers but from portrait painters. In this instance, my inspiration flowed from a 16th century portrait artist, Hans Holbein. In particular, Holbein's portrait of Sir Thomas More caught my eye. The portrait was compelling and controversial at the same time. In this 3/4 length portrait, the inclusion of strikingly shallow backdrop intensifies the harshness of More's presence. What makes the portrait even more arresting is Holbein's use of colour by incorporating bold areas of green as a symbol of revelation and red signifying power and importance. Holbein was able to perfectly portray his subject's status as a strong intellectual figure. Using Holbein's portrait as a muse, I began to think about the sitter in my own portrait. In recent years, I've become accustomed to working with famous faces, but it was my sitting with Patrick Stewart that helped to mould my approach and method. Part of this technique is to commit to thorough research. Research is critical when photographing prominent subjects. This is important as you will only have a small amount of time with your subject. My sitting with Patrick Stewart only lasted 20 minutes, so you don't have long to capture these portraits. To begin this preemptive research, I look at photographers who have captured the subject previously, grappling with the mathematics of the portrait. The head shape, the good side, the bad side, these are all important. I'll then take the time to binge watch movies or TV series which the actor has appeared in, watching relentlessly for details or angles that haven't caught my attention before. In my research, I came to the conclusion that Sir Patrick Stewart had been photographed as one of his many characters on multiple occasions. Holbein's portrait had given me the inspiration to photograph Sir Patrick Stewart as simply himself. No greens or reds, but simply a black backdrop, pierced by the harsh lighting that I knew would amplify every detail of Sir Patrick Stewart's intense gaze. I arrived early at Neo Studios in Manhattan, awaiting the most important portrait sitting of my career. Sir Patrick arrived and I explained my ideas, and Sir Patrick was very open to my inspiration from Holbein and other artists, and we began the sitting. In my style of simplicity, the portrait is all about the ocular. I focus Sir Patrick's gaze across the lens, not into it. An incredibly receptive Sir Patrick rapidly obliged me with a wonderful series of provocatively poised expressions. After working for a short period of 10 minutes, I was truly impressed with the results. I then decided to experiment and take a leap. Rather than looking to the familiar, heroic roles that Sir Patrick Stewart has made his name from, I decided I wanted to make him into a vengeful, evil and calculated villain. I asked Sir Patrick to imagine all of Shakespeare's evil characters and to emerge with an evil and thought-provoking, contemplative expression. In terms of camera settings, I decided, as always, to keep things simple. The portraits were shot at f7.1, ISO 100, shutter speed 100. In terms of lenses, I employed the most perfect, beautiful portrait lens you can buy, the Hasselblad 100mm f2.2, which I've used to capture many of my celebrity portraits. The chance to show what I can do and influence other photographers with my style came from this sitting. What's important to say is that projects fuel the fire. They get you the work. So show people, this is what I can do. This is what I can create. Even if it's not with a celebrity, an interesting face, someone with a compelling story, these are all important. You are nothing without a compelling subject. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video on how I captured this British icon. If you're interested in seeing more videos, don't forget to subscribe, and if you enjoyed my video, then please hit that like button. I'm also offering limited edition prints of the Sir Patrick Stewart photoshoot, so please get in touch or see the links below. Thanks for watching.